Hi there, my name's Colin and I'm joined today by Ken Webster, the Head of Innovation at the MacArthur Foundation. We're here to discuss the publication of the second edition of Ken's book, A Wealth of Flows. And Ken, a little while ago you published the first edition. What's new about the new book?
Well, the big new thing, Colin, really is that we're just publishing it in a digital form. It's on a Kindle, which may not be a surprise to most people, but digital is a big theme in the book and what digital does to the economy we're experiencing at the moment.
Can you give us a little bit of insight as to how
Yeah,
digital matters now?
it pretty much matters because currently we have a take, make and dispose economy. And there were some models in there about recycling, about refurbishment, maintaining materials, flows. But without digital, these were all really niche solutions. They happened in the back corners of an economy rather than up front. Digital allows us to see the relationship between ourselves and products and materials and components really very differently. And the biggest one of all is we're shifting towards offering people services, not products. And you can get a lot more out of a car, say, that's used most of the time as a service, either autonomous vehicles or whatever, than you can by just selling people the car and there it sits for 96% of the time doing nothing. So it's a big, big win on resources.
Is this what you mean by flows then, that the assets can flow into the use of many people?
Well, the assets won't flow, but the access to them becomes much more comprehensive. You know, say you have a building there, it can be used many more times in the day, or the Airbnb, where unused bedrooms, flats, while you're on vacation, they can be brought into use. So only digital has really allowed us to get the costs of these transactions down so that we can offer people, or firms can offer services at very low cost. Autonomous cars are predicted, and autonomous taxis are predicted to lower the cost per mile of getting around dramatically. So people say it's just a lot easier to do that.
I know economics is your thing. Do you offer some solutions to the problems faced with?
There's an old saying that if you put all economists in a row, they wouldn't add up to anything. And I think that's probably still true. What there are in there are some perspectives from a more contemporary point of view, one which says that we need to look at stocks as well as flows. We need to understand why it's important to rebuild or regenerate natural and social capital. It's a contemporary view of science, not as a machine-like science, but as a science which is full of feedback, which is full of evolving and emerging patterns. It's a perspective which takes that more up-to-date view of systems and applies it to resource questions. It isn't full of solutions, because if it was full of solutions, you probably wouldn't trust it at all, because we've had this thing with solutions, but we need to look at things differently and build on those things that do work. And this is really an example of some of the things that are working and some of the perspectives that are coming out.
And final question, who was your audience in mind when you wrote The Wealth of Flows?
Yeah, when people ask me that, I always say, well, almost anybody, but that's ridiculous. Some people would never look at anything that's about economics or resources. But I guess it's for people who are just not happy with looking at a linear economy, and they're dissatisfied with the options offered so far. So it gives, I think, a lot of encouragement to people who are, if you like, the intelligent lay reader who is interested in change. It just gives them a handy intro into some of the big debates at the moment, and for which the MacArthur Foundation is doing a lot of work in more detailed sense of analysing the stocks and flows of resources and energy.
Okay, Ken, let's not give too much away. If you want to get your hands on the second edition of A Wealth of Flows, then look out for the links on the page you're watching this on, and you can download your copy for Kindle today. Thanks for now.